Okay, before I let this video rip of Piers Morgan versus Alex Jones, I'd just like to say that I think Alex Jones is fucking insane. It's amazing to hear somebody quote as much from the FBI as he does, considering how much he distrusts the government when it comes to the statistics they put out. But what I will say is that Alex Jones scored some points with me for shouting down the slack-jawed moron Piers Morgan. After what Piers Morgan did to John Lott in what they call a debate, which was really nothing more than a shouting match, I'm just really glad to see somebody tear this idiot apart. In order to have a real debate, you can't be extremists. The problem with liberal extremists and conservative extremists and religious extremists, the problem is all of these idiots are extreme. So what you end up with is a shouting match. You don't have a real debate. What you end up with is an argument which is based more on emotion and personal attacks than it is on credible facts, intelligence, statistics, things that reasonable people would use. So I will say that I'm not an Alex Jones fan, but Alex Jones absolutely had me laughing when he destroyed Piers Morgan in this interview. Unfortunately, some people think he came off as crazy.
Let's talk about Alex Jones.
Oh, my God.
Alex Jones.
You know what?
Where do we begin?
I like the guy. He's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. But I don't think he wants to be just hilarious.
No,
Joe Rogan digs Alex Jones, but even he admitted recently on our show that,
Look, he's got his niche. I think Alex Jones isn't as crazy as he comes off on the air, but he saw what makes him successful.
I think we said
he runs with it.
Somewhere between 10 and 20% of what he says, it makes you think, like, oh. Yeah. But it's that 80 to 90%. I'll say 80%.
Yeah.
80%, you're like, holy fuck, dude.
This guy's batshit crazy.
You got to relax a little bit.
Yeah.
So anyway, he was on Piers Morgan last night. This was some of the best TV I've seen in a long time.
Fucking wouldn't let Piers talk. Finally shut that fucking limey cocksucker up.
I got to give a little credit to Piers Morgan.
Why, you got to give him a little credit?
A little credit.
What did he do there, Robbie?
He didn't lose his mind.
Up in here?
He was very calm, cool, collected.
Yes.
And just let Alex Jones lose his fucking mind.
Go off?
Yeah, I think a lot of people would have lost their mind back to Alex Jones.
It's true.
Anyway, they were discussing, I guess, gun control. And Alex Jones is the one trying to get Piers Morgan out of the country?
Yeah, he started the petition.
Yeah. He was the one, okay. Which has well over 100,000 signatures.
And apparently, Alex Jones was all wound up because on the flight going to be on the Piers Morgan show, the TSA pulled him aside and gave him some shit.
For what reason?
Because he's Alex Jones.
That's what he's saying.
And he's always against the TSA and all that happy horse shit. And he said that people were being let through with their shoes on. And he was then asked to remove his shoes, and he brought up the fact that he said, hey, look, other people are going through. And they said, no, it's just the elderly and young people. He goes, no, I saw people in their 40s being let through with their shoes. And they said, take the fucking shoes off or we're going to arrest you.
He was the problem.
Yeah.
He was the problem.
Because the people going through, the TSA has a thing you can apply for on the website where you can be like a pre-check almost, where I guess they do a tremendous security check on you. It takes a while. I've gone through a few times where you can go through with your shoes. Your laptop can stay in your bag. There's a certain line, a TSA cleared line. It's like Fly Clear, what that used to be.
Yep. Oh, that's creepy. Well, that's how. Wouldn't the terrorists know that shit and figure out the workaround?
There's a real a background check before you get to the airport.
Yeah.
It's like a real background check.
Yeah, but then how about you went crazy in between the
sure.
The background check and your flight.
Well, you're still getting checked, but you just can little things like you can leave your light jacket on and you can leave your shoes on, like we used to before Richard Reed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I like that.
I kind of would like it. They also said, hello, Mr. Jones. Like they knew who he was. And then he said the biggest thing was when he went through the metal detector. He said he went through, heard nothing, and then after he came out the other side, he heard, meh, and they were kind of chuckling and laughing, like they set it off on purpose after he went through for further harassment of Alex Jones.
Like I said, 20% of what he says. I'll give him 20.
20. Now it's 20, and
I'll give him the 20. I'm going to be
10.
fair.
Yeah.
But the 80% is a little far-fetched.
he's got something going though. I watch his videos; they're hilarious. When he's got the handheld cam, like he doesn't set up a tripod and talk into the camera. It's got to be handheld to have that gritty, moving look. And then at some point, he gets out of his chair and steps right up to the camera and finishes like what he's saying. Like it's very important. Oh my God!
Were you here that day? Because we did the.
Yes.
Okay, you are. Yeah, because then he dramatically stood up.
Yeah.
And started pointing right in the camera, and he was moving, and the cameraman had to get out of his way.
Crazy.
So he was on with Piers Morgan, and look, we could certainly argue, gun control again, no problem.
Nah, everyone knows my stance.
This clip is just hilarious, and I want to make sure that comes across without getting too serious here because it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Why don't we play it from where you're at? I think we could play the whole thing. I know you cut it up for us nice here, Sam, but I don't know. It's just too damn good.
Supporters of gun rights, and it's led to a petition on the White House official website, no less. It's entitled, and I quote, "Deport British citizen Piers Morgan for attacking Second Amendment." Take a look. More than 104,000 people have signed it so far. And joining me now is one of the people behind the petition, Alex Jones. He's host of the Alex Jones Show. Welcome to you.
Piers, thanks for having me.
Why do you want to deport me?
Well, we did it as a way to bring attention to the fact that we have all of these foreigners and the Russian government, the official Chinese government. Mao said political power goes out of the barrel of a gun. He killed about 80 million people because he's the only guy that had the guns.
Pause. Is that a real number? 80 million?
What, Mao?
Yeah.
I think so.
80 million.
Yeah, a lot of
That's
fucking
a lot of
lot of
people.
Chinese over there.
And he barrels through, so you can't even. He'll give you so many facts within 30 seconds that you can't even keep up.
Yeah.
Well, facts or just numbers.
what he would present as his facts. His style is tough.
Hey, Piers.
Because you want to stop him after every.
You have to, yeah.
Every fact and ask a follow-up question, but he knows that. That's why he keeps plowing through.
Because then it sounds like he's giving you more than you can handle.
Right.
Instead of the fact is it's hard to be rude and just go, hold on!
Right.
So we did it to point out that this is globalism and the mega banks that control the planet and brag that they've taken over in Bloomberg, AP, Reuters, you name it, brag that they're going to get our guns as well. They've taken everybody's guns but the Swiss and the American people. And when they get our guns, they can have their world tyranny. While the government buys 1.6 billion bullets, armored vehicles, tanks, helicopters, Predator drones, armed, now in U.S. skies, being used to arrest people in North Dakota. The Second Amendment isn't there for duck hunting. It's there to protect us from tyrannical government and street thugs. Take the women in India. Your piece earlier on CNN I was watching during Anderson Cooper's show didn't tell you that the women of India have signed giant petitions to get firearms because the police can't and won't protect them. The answer is, hey, wait a minute, I have FBI crime statistics that come out a year late, 2011. 20+% crime drop in the last 9 years. Real violent crime because more guns means less crime. Britain took the guns 15, 16 years ago, tripling of your overall violent crime. True, we have a higher gun violence level, but overall muggings, stabbings, deaths, those men raped that woman in India to death with an iron rod 4 feet long. You can't ban the iron rods. The guns, the iron rods, Pierce, didn't do it. The tyrants did it. Hitler took the guns. Stalin took the guns. Mao took the guns. Fidel Castro took the guns. Hugo Chavez took the guns. And I'm here to tell you, 1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms. Doesn't matter how many lemons you get out there on the street begging for them to have their guns taken. We will not relinquish them. Do you understand? That's why you're going to fail, and the establishment knows no matter how much propaganda, the Republic will rise again when you attempt to take our guns. My family in the Texas Revolution against Santa Anna, my family was at the core on both sides starting that. Because Santa Anna came to take the guns at Gonzales, Texas. Pierce, don't try what your ancestors did before. Why don't you come to America? I'll take you out shooting. You can become an American and join the Republic.
He's a good talker, Alex.
Of course he is.
Fucking
It started
Alex.
off all kind of normal.
I like when he put his finger out and started yelling at Piers. The Republic.
You think Piers just knows, though, like this is really good what he's doing right now? Like, as a broadcaster, he knows, right?
For his show, he knows it.
Piers is a very, very smart broadcaster. He's sitting there going, hold on, I got gold.
For the show.
He knows for the show. It's good.
Of course he knows.
That's funny.
You finished?
Yes, I am finished. You will not take my life. You go through background checks to get guns. How about Prozac? You know the number one. Oh, that's the big sponsor, isn't it? Or that whole class of drugs.
Let me ask you a question.
Oh, whoa, got to cut that off, don't you? Don't want to talk about the U.S. number one cause of death is suicide now because they give people suicide mass murder pills.
Calm down.
Your answer is get more
mass
money to
murder
psychiatrists
pills.
and psychologists to put more crazy people on drugs that make them kill people, Pierce.
Let's try and have a debate here.
Yeah.
Answer me this question.
I'm sick of the same old script here, bud.
It's fine, bud. How many gun murders were there in America last year? Do you know?
There were about 11,458, and about 74% of those were gang-related, gangbangers shooting each other. You get 3.5 to 4,000.
that wasn't the
How
question.
many people died from infections in hospitals?
If I may
197,000.
just ask you something.
That's right.
Alex.
How many gun murders were there in Britain?
How
last
many
year?
great white sharks
How many
kill
gun
people
murders-
every year, but they're scared to swim?
Right. How many gun murders were there in Britain?
A very low amount. I already went over those
How many?
statistics.
Do you know?
I was only a few hundred.
No. How many gun murders?
I actually did pull up the statistics. Here, let me pull them out right here. I figured you'd do that.
Gun murders
Oh,
in
wait.
Britain last
UK
year.
violent crime, capital of Europe. London Telegraph. Here, let me
It's
give you
quite
more.
a simple question.
Well,
Let me
that's
give
the
you more.
oldest-
You're a very
that's
loud
the old,
man.
No, that's the
You
oldest
make a
Perry
lot of
Mason
noise.
tactic to ask me some little factoid.
It's not a little factor.
I already said earlier,
We're talking about
England
a
has a
country-
lot lower gun crime rate because you
let me-
took all the guns.
Let me try exactly
But
my
you've
point.
got hordes of people burning down cities and beating old women's brains out every day.
That's a ridiculous
They arrest
statement.
people in England if
That's
they
a
defend
ridiculous
themselves.
statement.
That's on record. My God, you've got a total police state. Everybody's fleeing that country because you've had to flee here, bud. Why don't you tell folks?
You've had to flee here, bud.
Go back just slightly.
Oh, is that
barely,
hilarious?
barely, just a little tick. Yeah.
Who doesn't fucking love Alex Jones? He's
I love it.
hilarious.
I love it.
And I love the fact that he has a Hitler hairdo.
Yes.
Alex Jones has a haircut exactly like him.
Oh, yeah, he does. Yeah. He's very, very entertaining.
I think this is the part where he starts attacking peers.
Yeah.
Country because you've had to flee here, bud. Why don't you
I
tell
fled
folks?
here.
Yeah, you fled here. Why don't you go back and face the charges for the
Answer-
hacking scandal?
Answer this question. How many
Why'd you
gun-
get fired from the Daily
How
Mirror for putting out
many-
fake stories?
how
You're a
many-
hatchet man of the New World Order. You're a hatchet man. And I want to say this right here. You think you're a tough guy? Have me back with a boxing ring in here, and I'll wear red, white, and blue, and you can wear your Jolly Roger. You know what?
Let's try again.
Jolly
How many
Ranchers.
gun murders were there
Oh, you're going to ban your fist now?
in Britain last year?
How many chimpanzees can dance on the head of a pin? I already went over those statistics.
Do you know the answer?
No, I don't.
You said hundreds.
It's very low.
You said hundreds.
Yes.
It's actually 35
Well, the point is you can
against
sit-
11,000. Do you understand
Hey.
the difference between 11,000?
Yeah, England
and
wants
35?
to ban knives now because tens of thousands are getting
Right.
stabbed.
But do you
You're
understand
gonna ban
the
knives?
difference?
The knife
between
doesn't kill people.
Do you
The gun
understand-
doesn't kill people.
Yes.
Listen,
understand
do you
the difference
understand
between
you're not going
35
to pull on America's
and 11,000?
heartstrings. They know your script, okay? You're not going to get our guns. By the way, you guys always say, we just want to take the semi-autos, okay, and all this other stuff. When semi-autos aren't even, rifles aren't even used but in a fraction of the crimes, you can pull those numbers up, okay? No, hold on.
No, let me ask you one question. Which weapon was predominantly used in the Aurora movie theater
Oh,
shooting?
stop.
M4 AR-15 variants.
So it was a semi-automatic
Yes,
assault rifle.
again.
Okay,
But
next question.
statistically, it's very, very
next-
See, the
low.
problem, can you
That
pause
was-
this real quick?
Do you agree
The only
with
problem with
these-
Alex Jones is, like, you got to let him at least go back at you. Like, a little bit,
You know
even
what?
though it's being very
No,
entertaining.
It's great.
It's fun to hear.
He doesn't let you talk. We've had him
Yeah.
on the phone,
Yeah.
and he did the same
He does
thing.
the exact
You
same
got
thing.
to kind
just-
of let people in there. But he
I
is-
got to get my point out. I'm just going to fucking ramble over you. And that's
To have
it.
a fair debate, but that's
Yeah.
he doesn't.
He
care
doesn't
about
want a
that.
fair
You don't
debate.
think
He
so?
wants to get,
No, he don't give a
wants to
fuck.
get his point across.
He doesn't give a fuck.
All right, fair enough.
This is really. He's got a really good business. I'm
It's
sure he'll
fucking great.
plug InfoWars and all that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm writing
yeah.
down some of my favorites so far.
Oh, okay.
So far, I got globalism,
Globalism, global.
weird tyranny, tyrannical government.
Yes.
My favorite, though, is the next two: suicide, mass murder pills,
Where do you get those?
and hatchet man of the New World Order.
You're a hatchet man of the New World Order.
If there was some kind of rock festival, I'd see these bands.
That's like a-
I'd go
yeah.
see suicide, mass murder pills.
That's a fucking band list. That's the second stage? Where is that?
I think it is the second
stage?
at Lollapalooza this summer. Continue.
Single biggest shooting in the history of America in terms of people hit by a shooter. Do you know that?
No, I believe that there were others. There's been some other shootings with about over 30.
No, this was the single biggest mass shooting.
Well, listen, you're just going.
No,
there have been bombings of Wall Street.
Let me ask you a second question.
Are we going to listen? Why can't the pilots have firearms? We trust them to fly the planes.
You've had a lot to say.
No, my point is the Second Amendment is sacrosanct, and you're not getting it.
Do you know which weapon was used in the Oregon shopping mall mass shooting recently?
I understand that people who are mentally ill on all the serotonin reuptake inhibitors who play these shoot-'em-up games want to go out and do this. Because there's criminals, I don't lose my rights, Piers. Because there's criminals, I don't lose my rights.
Just answer the question.
Yeah.
Do you know what the weapon used was?
Listen, let me ask you a question.
No, answer.
I've got the FBI statistics that, that the so-called semi-autos that you talk about.
Let's take a break. When we come back.
Again, you're not going to get our guns.
When we come back, try and answer my question.
Yeah, all you're going to do is sit there and play little factoid questions. Overall crime's gone up over 20%.
I know why Alex Jones doesn't want to get into that discussion. Because it is one of these things the media does and Pierce does. You get the fact that a rifle is used like that, an assault rifle is used in a mass killing, but statistically it's so low it barely registers.
But he has the point. He's making those points.
Yeah.
But he should let him get it a little bit, and then because it looks better if you allow him to make his point and then counter it with something like that. It looks because he definitely knows.
You hit him with the knowledge.
He's not a dumb guy, Alex. He has a great argument. He's got a Nugent type argument, which
take some of the energy out of your delivery and just hit him with the knowledge.
Yeah.
Piers' whole point is trying to get him to admit that semi-automatic rifles are a much better way to kill more people than any other weapon. It's true, yes. But just because that's true doesn't mean you have to give up your right to own one.
Also true, yeah, agreed.
Like we brought up in the past a lot of times, there's plenty of other things that have killed many, many more people than guns on the whole. And as far as rifles go, that's really just, I'm sure the people that have been killed or know people that have been killed by these rifles don't want to hear it. But the truth of the matter is, just based on statistics and not emotion, it's a very small fucking number. And like he said, the gang violence that is going on in this country is the large majority of the gun violence.
He said 74%. Is that true?
Yes, it's crazy.
But is he against mental health checks for buying a gun?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. I thought he said something about mental health checks.
But a lot of states already have that in place. Whether you want to do it in
federal
federal
do they all not
or give
have
state rights, I don't know. But why don't then all allow me to go in and fucking go from state to state? I'm not allowed to. State rights, as far as the Second Amendment goes, it's all about states' rights. They have the ability, and cities' rights to curtail firearm ownership. It's amazing. But to have a single restriction over people buying guns federally, I don't think you're going to see that, because a lot of states that don't have any regulation don't want regulation. It's their right.
See, to me, though, their right to not have regulation infringes on other people's right to safe existence. I think that if you have some kind of regulations and some kind of fucking background check, any state without a mental health check on people buying guns is simply a disgusting.
We've heard about the mental
irresponsible
health check thing. It's the criteria for a mental health check is impossible. What is a mental health check? Where's the line between this person was feeling a bit melancholy today and clinical depression? Where do you judge when someone's allowed to have a gun based on their mental state or not allowed to have one? Who's the one that tells you that that's what it is? A doctor is now involved in getting a gun? I don't understand how you would do this.
Well, the people who are for gun control are typically against having a mental health database, which gun advocates argue like they don't even want a mental health data, which I think there should be one.
Would you want a mental health database that is open to the public just for guns, or then all of a sudden employers are able to look in? How about this fucking website that opened up that showed people that own guns in Putnam County? They actually had a list of little buttons that was like, this guy owns a gun, this guy owns a gun. Now you want your mental health records to be available to the public so that they could shun you from having a job or having kids or adopting or whatever.
No, but the option, there has to be a way to do it. First of all, medical records are not public. They're not public.
Of course not. But then if you add them to a gun ownership thing, they would become public record, just as my pistol permit is public record. My address is up there. Someone could look it up based sheerly on the fact that I own a gun.
You're a guy who I would be okay with owning. Honestly, as crazy as you are. Because I think you would meet the responsibility. But people who wouldn't meet that, fuck them. I don't want them owning.
What's the criteria? That's the hardest part.
Well, let me ask you this. The kid in Aurora, would he have passed a mental check?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't think so. But again, a mental check, what does that mean?
Well, I'm just, how would they have gone about it is what I'm asking.
What's the criteria?
I don't know if we
the
have
point
one
is, we all know a lot of crazy people.
A lot of crazy people, or just a basic, like a weirdo. You know, a weirdo.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean he's going to shoot up a theater, but does that fact that he's a little off, and it can't even be clinically diagnosed, but you know he's a little off, do you stop him from getting a gun?
Yes.
How? I understand.
Yes.
But like how?
I don't know how, but yes. I would like that person not to have a gun. Yes.
Jim, I would love if crazy people couldn't get guns. I would love it. But how? What's the criteria?
It's a good question.
It's very difficult.
But I don't have 100% the answer.
It's a gray
area. I don't, it doesn't mean that there's not an answer. It doesn't mean that that there shouldn't be some kind. I think that there should be mental health, some sort of a national database for people who are truly, dangerously fucked up. Not people who have had moments of depression or.
But that's you saying that.
Yeah.
Now, if you have had moments of depression or anxiety,
I can't own a gun. I'm not qualified to own a gun.
Qualified to own a kitten. Terrible.
I personally believe that I am not. Legally I'm allowed, but I've been too suicidal or I've been too many anger issues. Like, I firmly believe I should not ever own one. And I know that about myself. So I don't know what the criteria would be, but because that doesn't mean that there can't be one.
It's complicated.
It is.
You're right. It doesn't mean there can't be one. But it's so subjective. Mental health is a very subjective, gray thing.
It is, but there are things that we all agree on. Maybe not a lot, but there are certain people we all go, yeah, no.
Well, you know what? I could do the same thing about criminals. I could say that person is not a good, upstanding member of society based solely on an opinion, a background of previous trouble. What
we do that already. Felons cannot own guns. So that's a start. So maybe if you've had certain legal issues due to mental health, that puts you on that list. So maybe that does not make a complete list.
Right.
But it's a partial list.
But as a society, we coddle the mentally ill to begin with.
Yes. And their rights will be infringed upon just because of their mental health.
Completely protect them.
Yep.
Completely.
Yeah.
Can we go back to part 2 of this?
Please.
Alex Jones on Piers Morgan giving us some great TV last night.
Here's how this is going to work, and it's entirely down to you. I'm going to ask you some questions in the spirit of a proper debate, and you've had a lot to say so far on the show, and a lot of it aimed at me, which is fine. But I want you to try and answer the questions. It's a proper debate, okay? I'm not trying to trip you up.
No, it's not a debate. You're running the show. You bring in your victims up front.
Actually, no.
Look, you got your little note cards.
Okay.
I just gave you FBI statistics that violent crime and gun crime is down over 20%.
Alex, let me just ask you
And
this.
you want to go to little factoids.
No, they're not little
Anybody
factoids.
can pull those up. Listen.
Do you know what...
Do you have a bodyguard?
Alex.
Why do you have bodyguards?
I don't have a bodyguard.
Yeah, I've seen you on the news with them. Don't you want to protect your wife from hoodlums, or you want to call the police?
Let me ask you this question.
Why does Dianne Feinstein tell 60 Minutes that she plans to try to take Mr. and Mrs. America's guns? Have you seen that?
Stop talking over me.
You guys want to disarm all of America.
No, I don't.
Dianne Feinstein's bill does.
I don't.
Gun confiscation.
No, let me clarify for you. You don't seem to understand
First you register, then you confiscate. It's always done the same.
Here's what the campaign on this
Well, here, give me your little cue cards and I'll answer your questions.
What was the weapon used at Sandy Hook?
I've already gone over that and already answered it for you.
We haven't talked about Sandy Hook.
No, again,
what was the weapon?
It's a 223 M4.
Right.
Again, but statistically, they're using very low percentage of shootings.
But are you seeing?
You guys, people wouldn't go swimming because the movie Jaws, even though great white sharks kill 5 people a year.
Alex,
you're trying to scare people.
Let me say something.
There's no metal shark in the water.
The same type of weapon was used in the last 3 mass shootings.
And Hitler used semi-autos to kill people.
Why would you not?
So did Mao.
Why would you?
Why is the government arming to the teeth against us?
Alex, I don't.
What about Fast and Furious?
Alex,
why do our government ship guns into Mexico?
Alex,
to blame the Second Amendment?
Let's have a debate.
A false flag?
Alex,
to blame the Second Amendment?
I get accused.
Why they blow building 7 down the street here in New York?
I get accused when I get you guys on of talking over you, of being rude. I'm trying to be civil, right? You've got to try and answer some of the questions, right? Here's my issue for you. Why do people civilians need an AR-15 type assault rifle? Why
they
do you
already
need
said statistically they're used in a
no,
very
answer
low
the question.
amount of the crimes. That's an FBI fact.
They've been used in the last 3 mass shootings.
Yes.
Why do
I'll tell
people
you
need
why.
them?
Because they advertise it in the media. Anybody knows that if somebody jumps off the Empire State Building, they put cops up there the next day because copycats come to do it again. The media hypes and hypes and hypes.
No, that's not the question.
Don't just commit suicide.
Alex, why do people
Go commit suicide by killing a bunch of kids, and here's the gun to use because it's the one the U.S. Army uses.
Why do people need them?
It's a great point.
They need them to protect us from the #1 killer in history. Government in the 20th century, university study out of Hawaii killed 292 million people. It's called democide. Google it, folks.
Do you believe everyone in America should everyone in America therefore have an AR-15 if they want one?
Yes. Statistically, where there's more guns, there's lower crime. The highest crime is in Bloomberg.
But you have the most
controlled
guns
areas.
of any of the 23 richest countries in the world, and you have 11,000
Well, America was born on guns and
a year.
whiskey.
Right.
Yeah.
But
it's true we're a violent society.
Right. So you
but
accept that America has the most
knives
guns
kill
and the
3
most gun
times more.
murders.
Have you seen the FBI numbers? Knives, bats, rocks
Assault guns.
kill
Can you pause? I have a
many
question for
times
Alex.
more.
Alex.
For someone that does not trust the government at all, and has zero faith in the government's ability to tell the truth, he sure has faith in the FBI statistics.
Wow, Jimmy, that's
Very good.
That's fucking good, Jim.
I don't know why he puts any more stock in the FBI statistics, as they are part
Then the 9/11 fucking investigation report.
of the same machine.
Right. Very good. That's a good one.
Talk about the gun.
It's not the rock. It's not the knife. When a mother chops her kids up with a cleaver because she's on serotonin.
Tell me why I'm wrong.
Why don't you
about
want to
the
get rid of the drugs?
AR-15?
Because they're half your sponsors?
Stick to the subject.
America's #1 cause of unnatural death now is suicide.
Alex,
not
let's try
automobile
again.
accident, not cancer, not...
You
Listen,
accuse me of attacking the Second Amendment of the Constitution.
I want to get people off pills that the insert says will make you commit suicide and kill people.
Alex, let's get about the Second
I
Amendment.
want to blame the real culprit.
Alex.
Suicide pills.
Alex.
Mass murder pills.
Okay, let me ask you one question. Your belief, unless I'm wrong,
First time anybody's ever heard this, by the way.
your belief, unless I'm wrong, is that under the Second Amendment, your real concern is that you will be overrun by a tyrannical regime, either from somewhere else
Yeah,
or
highway
from your own government.
checkpoints. Look at Mexico. Total gun ban for the citizens. Highest crime rate in the world. 57,000 people dead the last 5 years. Total gun ban for the citizens.
But your
Switzerland has the lowest crime rate in Europe. Your country has the highest.
Alex, we have 35 gun murders a year. You have 11,000.
You people get their brains. It's the higher crime rate.
Let me ask
Violent crime is higher.
on this specific.
It's brains.
Alex,
it's people.
I'm trying to get inside your brains.
Pierce,
It's
if
not
you
proving
punched
very
me right
easy.
now, it'd be not your fist, but your brain that did
Alex, let me get inside your brain.
Okay.
Okay? I'm serious. You have a very, very big platform. You air, I think, on 63 networks.
No, that Wikipedia is like 10 years old. I'm on over 140 stations. XM.
Millions of Americans hear you.
Over 1.5 million
every day.
visitors to Infowars.com
And I
today,
congratulate
where we have
you
the
on your
statistics
audience.
posted right now.
Okay.
Infowars.com.
Who do you believe was behind 9/11?
Oh, I absolutely know. I have the police on CNN saying, get back, they're going to blow up 7. I have BBC reporting.
Who do you believe is behind it?
I have the proof. I heard them on CBS Radio.
Who, Alex?
They announced they blew up the towers on CBS Radio.
Who do you believe?
New Yorkers all saw it and heard it.
Alex, who do you
They
believe?
blew up Building 7.
Alex, who do you believe was behind it? The American government?
Criminal elements of the military-industrial complex, the same ones that staged Gulf of Tonkin, the same ones that staged Operation, the mass shootings.
I
of
like where
Operation
he's going
Gladio.
with this one. Thank you for your
CIA
service.
don't like this right
I
now.
hope,
Do you mean
he loved the last point he made. Go back.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he made a point on who's doing the school shooting.
Oh.
Military-industrial complex, the same ones that staged Gulf of Tonkin, the same ones that staged the mass shootings of Operation Gladio.
Right.
Ooh, the CIA don't like this right now.
Do you mean President
The
Bush,
CIA
his
don't like
administration?
That's right. They don't like this. Neither does the FBI, who I'm quoting a whole lot. So it's CIA's bad, FBI good? Or?
Yeah, bad, FBI good.
Operation Gladio.
Right.
Ooh, the CIA don't like this right now.
Do you mean
Operation Gladio's
President Bush,
second
his
album,
administration
fucking
were
mint.
behind 9/11?
Great.
I mean that
like a Dream
even
Theater
mainstream
LP.
news reported that the hijackers were ordered to be allowed into the United States. Michael Springman, the head of the visa department, blew the
His
whistle on that.
So the Bush administration was part of a conspiracy.
Well,
to
he
murder,
said never let us tolerate
to murder thousands of Americans.
I can speak in this accent as well.
Yeah.
The
But is that what you
government,
believe?
Hitler firebombed his own Reichstag, Pierce. to bring in martial law in Germany, April 27th, 1933.
That's a factoid.
Governments have staged terror attacks throughout history or allowed terrorists to attack as a pretext to invade and enslave the populations. I probably own more than 50 firearms. Many of them have increased in value 2, 3, or even 4 times. I sleep very comfortably outside Austin, Texas, knowing that I can defend my family.
Okay, Alex Jones. This is
Infowars.com.
This is the man who wants to deport me from the country for wanting to get rid of
it's to point out you're a foreigner, a redcoat, here telling us what to do.
Whatever.
Go back to where they took the guns if you don't like it. The communists...
How great is that?
Fucking Alex Jones. Holy fuck.
And then he's doing his bad English accent right to his face.
That is some great audio.
Very, very good.
He said false flag. Google it, folks.
Google it, folks.
Mass murder pills, and of course, Operation Gladio.
Operation Gladio.
Operation Gladio.
Great stuff right there. Whew. Alex Jones.
But he didn't have a proper debate.
No.
Piers barely talked.
No, good.
But,
you know what?
But it
good.
It was good TV, though.
I like the fact that someone gets on there and Piers just fucking has to let him roll and shut his yap.
Yeah.
Piers.
But when someone rambles like that, whenever you pause them, there's always a bunch of things you can go back over and fucking. Oh, excuse me. What about?
Yeah, we did that on our show.
That's
yeah.
We tripped him up.
I just thought it was good, but that's two arguments that aren't even on the same fucking rail. Right. You know what I mean? Like Piers was making the argument that 11,000 gun murders a year in the United States, 30-something in England. You can't fucking compare the two. Obviously, it's a bigger nation here. They don't allow guns there, so even the fact that there's 35 is fucking amazing. Because they don't allow guns. It's not part of their constitution and their culture. Mm-hmm. We do. In order to get that murder rate down to 0, you'd have to do a lot more than just take away legal guns. And that gang violence, the fact that that's 75% of that 11,000 murders a year, that's a cultural problem. That is a cultural fucking problem. That isn't a hardware issue. It's a cultural problem.
Out of 11,000 gun deaths, 75% done by gangbangers. What's that number? Quickly.
I would say that's probably 20, 30 gun deaths.
See, my estimate was a little different.
Let's call it 12,000, then it's 3/4. So then that leaves only 4,000 left.
4,000 people
that are not
hating their
related.
wives.
Not gang related.
Yeah.
If that stat is completely
money.
true.
And the fact that semi-automatic assault weapons are used in a minuscule amount of gun crimes and gun violence in this country, but that's the one that is that's the fucking picture they put up on the news. That's the gun that should spur gun control.
Well, they got to start somewhere.
Well, yeah. The truth of the matter is the 9mm semi-automatic handgun is the champion of murder in this country. Unfortunately, hey, it's legal. It's not something you can confiscate or ban because it's a widespread weapon. And it's not this military weapon. It's nothing they can really say people shouldn't have and be allowed to have. Crazy people, Jimmy. Crazy people kill people.